Hey, friends. Welcome to Chatting with Maxie. I'm Maxie. I'm Maxetagad, and I'm really glad you're here. Thank you so much. Um, so listen, you just never know what you're gonna get with me. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. First of all, there's a few things I just kind of want to share. I'm trying to get some information out there and get everybody on the same page. So if you've heard this before, just humor me, just pretend like you haven't. So, I have this YouTube channel, Chatting with Maxie, and it's like a FaceTime call with some of my friends. And then also I'm hosting a podcast. The podcast is called It's Time to Talk About It with Maxetagad, formerly known as Come Talk With Me. I changed the name because as I sat down to wrote whoopsie daisy, as I sat down to write the vision that I wanted for the podcast, one thing I really want is for us to talk about things on the podcast that aren't talked about a whole lot, that maybe there's shame attached to, or people think it's not important, or they're too afraid to ask the question. I just want it to be a space where we talk about a little bit of everything. And we remember that nothing is too big for God, and shame is from the enemy. And during the podcast, as well as this YouTube channel, my hope is always that God is glorified. People know that they're not alone, that they do matter, and that we laugh and have a good time. But really, with the podcast, I like to hear other people's stories and experiences. We can learn from each other, and it may not necessarily relate to me, but maybe it will some of the listeners, and it'll click and be like, oh, hey, okay. So with the podcast, here's what's going on. Again, the name of it is It's Time to Talk About It. On Monday mornings, there's a little Monday Morning with Maxie episode. It's about 2 to 5 minutes long. It's just a little fun encouragement to get your week going. On Thursday's the big day, an episode with a full conversation, either with a guest or with myself. myself show up to share some of our story, as I did not long ago about my experience with pregnancy loss. And then on Fridays, there's a Friday fun tip. And it's, again, a very short little episode, about 2 to 5 minutes. And it's a Friday fun tip on how to kind of challenge yourself to have a little fun, or it might be just a little fun fact or a little push out of your comfort zone. But that, I just keep hitting this little tray table. My little tray table got for $7 at the Walmart. It was on discount. But again, with the podcast, 3 episodes a week. Monday, Mornings with Maxie, 2 to 5 minutes. Thursday, usually an hour, maybe a little over that, is a conversation with a guest. Fridays, Friday Fun Tip, 2 to 5 minutes. So hop on there and be sure to enjoy those. I'm not sure if it's something I'm going to add to the YouTube channel or not. I might keep it just for the podcast, but we'll see. The YouTube channel, Chatting with Maxie, new episodes on Wednesday, and it's me. It's just as much of me as you can handle. I'm a little tongue-tied today. A few too many Pepsis. So I just wanted to clear up some of that information. A few people have messaged me. It has, at first, when I came back, I just oversaturated everything. I was loading videos here, there, and everywhere. So that's a little clarification. And you'll see some of my posts on social media. I might tag you in them. And if not, if you don't care to share them, that would help me tremendously. But all right, let's go. Let's go. I have a cutest little story. I have a couple. I have a few. My nose is itching. What's that mean? Someone's coming to see me? There's one little girl. I hope she comes to see me, but I got to see her yesterday, though. She's still a whole lot of love. She's pretty great, though. She had her first round of immunizations. She's nice and healthy and just She's like cooing and doing those little smiles, little grins maybe. And I mean, I still love her a whole big bunch, and her mom and dad are doing great. Okay, so here's a cute little story. So my nephew, his daughters, often you'll hear me call them my nieces. Really, they're my great nieces, but whatever. So adorable. One of them is in 4th grade. And if you're listening to this and your kids are friends with them, I don't want her teased about this. You know what I mean? So just turn it down low, or tell them, you know what you do with kids. Have them run an errand for you. Go in there and get mommy a pop or something. Listen, I'm not the only one that did it with my kids and nephews and nieces. But anyways, here we go. The great niece story. She's adorable. She's in 4th grade. I think she's 9, will be 10 in February, somewhere around there. And she's just cute. So we were at a volleyball game. This has been a few weeks ago. And I was just kind of catching up with her. Our schedules and stuff have been crazy, and I haven't got to spend as much time with them as I like to, because they're funny little girls. They're cool to be around. And so I was catching her up on everything, and, how's school? How's your friends? I always, well, how's your friendships going? Are you getting along good with everybody? Yeah. And now I'm not real big on this boyfriend, girlfriend stuff at this age, but she is. So, she's telling me a story about her boyfriend and what he did. And I said, oh, I was listening. I said, now what's his name? So she told me his first name. I'm not going to repeat it because I don't have her permission. And I said, I don't know who that could be. I said, what's his last name? She thought for a minute. I don't really know. Oh, to be young again. So she knew his first name, but I mean, really, what are last names? Are they even of importance in a relationship? I just thought that was really cute. She's like, I don't really know. So that's all right. So she's cute. And so let me tell you a story about last night, yesterday evening. Y'all, we always sign off because we spent a lot of last season talking about doing good, doing right, doing truth. And that is something that's very important to me. It's I really try to use it as a filter. My responses go, is this true? Is it good? Is it right? Does this, okay. Well, your girl was on the struggle bus yesterday. After work, I work in Webster Springs, and I had to go to Craigsville for something. So I got off work at 4, was going to Craigsville. Well, I was in this little narrow area. If you're from this area, it's kind of that area before the dollar store, not the new one they put in, the old one, the one that's, listen, it's a little bit scary. It's a little bit shady. I don't know. I've shopped there a few times. Every time I shop there, I get creeped out by something. I don't know. I'm sorry if you're from there. Maybe you're the manager. I don't know. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. It's probably just me. Anyways, I'm driving in my little Blueberry, in my little car. I like my little car. It's not fancy, but it's perfect for us. That's what I want. It's good on gas. It's not so nice that I get upset if something spilled in it. It's perfect for me. Maybe not for others, but for me, I like her. So I'm driving, listen to a little music. I'd already listened to podcasts. So had a little music. Man, I got to this little area. First of all, the shoulders are high there, and there's not very much road. There's not very much, like berm, I don't know, gravel, dirt. There's not much space between the road and the ditch, and then the hill, the mountain, the hillside, whatever it is. It was flooded with people walking. And we had one gentleman on a bike. Okay, listen, ride your bike, walk. It's fine. Have at it. Good on you. But let me explain what was happening. Okay. I got panicky. I got a little anxious. What I wanted to do is, how you scoot by something and sometimes you have to suck it in. I wanted to be able to suck in my car, but you can't. So there's vehicles coming this way. On this side, there's people walking, and a couple walking, and it's good to be in love. That's fine. Love your person you're with, whatever. Love the one you're with. Isn't there a song that says that? But you need to be single file when there's not enough room on the road and the side of the road for you and vehicles, which are supposed to be on the road. Okay. So there's my first beef. I'm gonna need you, lovebirds, to go single file, like you're in the lunch line back in school, single file. Your love does not wane if you're single file going through there. Your life could be spared though. So, and then you had this fella back here, big old backpack. That backpack was large. Like he was kind of humped over, and I thought, buddy, I mean, if it happened to get up here, you're going to topple over, but whatever. Okay, then on my side, now that was on the opposite side. Cars coming though. Cars coming, both sides. Cars are coming. So on my side, we have Mr. Ride a Bike with the backpack. Again, I'm a cinch sack wearer. I'm all for the back. I love a good backpack. I don't care what's in them. Okay, I'm not out there. I don't care. I'm just saying, dude had a big old backpack, pedaling on his bike. Then there was a gentleman in front of him walking this little tiny dog. I mean, little. I kid you not. I don't know if it was a puppy or that was the breed it was. Why are you walking it through there? I mean, so you're cutting its life expectancy short, okay, if you're walking it through. But he was just walking it. And then there was another person in front of them just walking, okay, no backpacker. Had his phone, though. He was, and all of these individuals, look at me, I'm so worked up. All of these individuals are on the road, like they're on the white line or even over in the road. Like, what are we doing, folks? I don't care what your means of transportation is. If it's walking, if it's biking, go on with your bad self. But when people are trying to utilize the road that is designed for vehicles in a small area, what you might want to do is stop and step back. You see, just kind of step back, let the traffic pass. And Mr. Walking my little teeny tiny dog, he barely got it up. I mean, I listened. I was like, did I hit it? Like, is that a thump? I mean, I wasn't out to. I did not set out to kill any people or dogs. I was just trying to get to Craigsville. So I want him to bend over and pick the dog up when you're walking in an area that is so tight like that. You can feel my stress probably through the screen about this situation. I mean, holy macaroni. I was so nervous. And I was creeping along, as other traffic was too, because these people weren't getting out of the road. So then the vehicles were trying to hug the yellow line. Well, we don't want to hug. If you meet on the yellow line, there's a problem, you know? So, oh my gosh, I was beside myself. I almost pulled over at the dollar store, but I am a chicken. So I wasn't going to and yell like, hey, y'all get out of the road. But okay, one, that you just don't know nowadays. Somebody have a gun or just simply, I'm just a chicken. I wasn't going to do that. And then two, I was like, all right, it's just not the way you're going to handle it. Just keep going. Go to your destination, Maxie. Just keep going. And so I did. But golly, I mean, it's just, it was real crowded. That's what I'm going to say. It was real crowded and your girl feeling the real anxiety from it. Gosh, frustration. That honestly, it turned to anger. If we're just going to be, if it's me and you, just me and you being truthful. Yeah, I was a little ticked off. I was like, people, get your dog up, get off your bike. Y'all step back and let the vehicles by. Oh, golly jeepers. I got to let it go though. I got to let it go. Man, it got me all worked up. But anyways, I survived. Now, as far as I know, they survived. I don't know after I left. I mean, after I made my way through, I had nothing to do with me. I don't know. I wish them nothing but the best, but I do wish they'd step back and just stand there a minute and let the traffic go. But you can't have everything you wish for. You know, I can remember I was much younger. I think I know who it was that told me this, but I don't want to say it. But this person told me one time, I said, something like, I want this, I forget what it is. I want it. And he said, well, you're old enough. So you're old enough. So your wants won't hurt you. That's harsh. It's kind of harsh. I don't know. My want is still important. I want those people to step back. All right. So I told you the cute little niece story. She couldn't remember her boyfriend's last name, or didn't know it. Not couldn't remember, just didn't know it. I thought that was a hoot. I told you the walking story. I hope I explained the podcast to you. There's something. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so here's where I'm at. Here's what I want to share with you. I've been thinking about this for a while. You'll hear me talk about this more, but I'm part of a group that's called the At Home Tribe, and the leader of it is Kara Osborne. She runs a ministry called Wellness Witness, and look her up on all the socials, Kara Osborne. I think on Instagram it's Kara Osborne or something. But anyways, she teaches a lot on like give what it is that you need or want. And my pastor has taught on before, like if you're in financial troubles, then you sow the seed of finances, like be a giver, and God honors that, right? And you reap the harvest of that. And so Kara has taught on that as well. And she's taught on, if you, for me, okay, so my hope is that the podcast and the YouTube channel becomes successful. Now I'm working through, because I'm taking a course on defining successful, right? So she's like, well, so you want yours to be successful, so promote other people's. Like you're planting that seed, you're promoting other people's podcasts. So so I've been doing so, and I'm going to today. And I genuinely mean this when I say that I enjoy these podcasts. So you give, what you need or want in return, right? So if I need or want, or if I desire people to interact with me in a kind, gentle way, then I get to interact with them in such, right? And get that in return. So y'all get the point. I don't think I need to explain that anymore, but God has really I've been studying a lot about that. And so just today before I did this, I recorded an episode with Tara Huckel. She has there's like a series on YouTube and the podcast for her, and she taught on unforgiveness, shared about, she did teach me, but part of her testimony is working through unforgiveness and bitterness and resentment and such, and how God has healed her and the process through that. And so she was talking about this particular person. I'm not going to go into what, but it would have to be God. It would have to be God to do this through me. And she, to work through her unforgiveness, he had her like bless her. So she was praying for this woman. She would like comment on her Instagram posts about, hey, you look beautiful today. Be blessed. Is there anything I can pray for you about? Like she blessed her, and she made a comment, Tara did. She said, because I said, you don't seem to have any triggers when you talk about this with this woman or, her husband. You could figure out what it was. Anyways, she said that she had to learn real quick that the enemy thrived on those triggers. And so every time she felt triggered or whatever new lingo, you want to put in there, but when you felt a little ruffled by this memory or even this person's name, she said automatically she knew she had to go bless them, whether through prayer or a note on Instagram or a card or a gift back, whatever. She just knew she had to bless them in some way. And she kept doing that. And it released her from unforgiveness. And now when names are mentioned or brought up, she's not triggered. Like you would never know that they have some hurt in their past. They're not BFFs. Don't get me wrong. Nothing like that. But I just thought that was really interesting. Like you give away what you need, right? So I say all of that to lead up to this. Oh, did y'all hear my phone? I forgot to turn it off. And really, it's just a notification from our little blink camera that Mom's cat is over on our porch. That's nice. Because if you know me, you know I love a cat on my porch. Insert sarcasm. So I don't come after me about the cat hate, okay? I don't hate cats. I just don't. They're not my animal of choice. If they're yours, enjoy them. Just enjoy them. Love on them. Just don't bring them here, okay? Okay. There's room for all of us around here. Those that like them, those that do not. It's okay. My mom knows she loves them. She's running low right now. She's down to, I think, 2 or 3. I'm just gonna let that go. I'm not gonna say anything else about that. Okay. So in this little devotional that I'm loving, my mornings, this is what I do. Just a little light, kind of get my mind focused in the right way in the morning. Devotional. It talks about go find your old self. Go find your old self. No, thanks, I'd rather not. But it talks about, it says, when you become a believer, it didn't change your circumstance, but it did change your response to your circumstance. Now, correct. Like when you accept Jesus Christ as your Savior, it doesn't mean all your circumstances are suddenly going to be wonderful. But what it does mean is you have the option to change your response to them, right? And so she talks about in here, if you feel your past hurts lack purpose, she has a very simple solution. She says, go find a version of your old self and encourage her, comfort her, love her, and point her to Christ. And when you do, you'll find purpose in your past pain, and you'll be an example to someone who just might keep the circle of comfort going. So the scripture that she shares is 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 3 through 4. Now listen, y'all, really like this. I'm going somewhere with this. Hang in there with me, okay? Hang in there. I don't know how long I've been going. Y'all don't mind, though. You don't mind. All right, 2 Corinthians is in the New Testament. Let me get to it here. 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 3 and 4. And this is in the Amplified Version. And it says, blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of sympathy and mercy, and the God who is the source of every comfort, every consolation, and every encouragement, who comforts and consoles and encourages us in every trouble, every calamity, and every affliction, so that we may also be able to comfort, to console, and to encourage those who are in any kind of trouble or distress with the comfort and the encouragement with which we ourselves are comforted by God. So God comforts us, he encourages us so that we can do that to others, right? So what we're getting, what we need from God, we get to give to others. Listen, I like how the Message says it. The Message Bible, still with that fancy bookmark. Shoot. Chapter 2 Corinthians chapter 1 verses. Now this will have it 3 through 5, but it's good. Now I like this. It says, all praise to God and the Father of our Master, Jesus the Messiah, Father of all mercy, God of all healing counsel. He comes alongside us when we go through hard times. And before you know it, he brings us along someone else who is going through hard times so that we can be there for that person, just as God was there for us. We have plenty of hard times that come from following Jesus, but no more so than the good times of his healing comfort. We get a full measure of that too. I love that. So there's always purpose in your pain. He doesn't waste anything. And what you get from him, right, you get to give to others. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, I mean, that's just how the kingdom of God works. Like we get so we can give. Just like this podcast situation I'm sharing with you. Like there's some growth in it that I want to take place. So because I want that, then I'm going to sow the seed of sharing other people's podcasts. And then eventually Mom will do whatever it's supposed to do, right? But it's all from God, for God, back up to God. See, the culture of Christ is counterculture to like what is normal to us, right? You wouldn't, you'd think, well, I don't want to give away money if I need money. Yeah, you got to plant that seed so that it can be harvested back to you. Now, don't get all like, don't comment and be like, I don't give away money just to get it back. I know that. Everybody knows that. We give because it's the right thing to do. We give because we want to be a blessing. If you get no return on it, I'm still going to give, right? We all are. It's okay. So you're doing it with the right motive. I mean, your heart is in the right place when you're a giver. But God's just so good and so gracious, just like when you get an ice cream, like a hot fudge sundae, let's say. And maybe normally they give you 1 squirt of hot fudge. But today they give you 2 squirts. Come on now. That's like God. He's like, okay, you gave, right heart. Here's some. And then here's some to go on it. Don't. Yeah, there we go. So no, I'm not saying like, oh, you give just to get. No, we get to be givers. We get to be cheerful givers. The extra squirt of hot fudge is cool. He's going to honor that and meet our needs as well. Does that make sense? Leave it in the comments, y'all. Tell me all about it. Now let's do some recommendations. Y'all like that? I sound like a game show host, don't I? Let's do. This is from last week. I couldn't remember. I don't know if you can see it. The Curl Multi-Use Oil, hydrating oil for your curls. I don't know how to pronounce that. Now, I'm going to say it my way. It's wrong. I'm sure it's wrong. Garnier Fructis. I don't know. Anyways, it's a little green bottle. It smells so good. Anything coconut is my very, very favorite. I mean, to smell it. I love it. Any lotions, creams, whatever. So that's a follow-up from last week. I'm like all jacked up today and really full of pep. Okay, here's my 3 recommendations for this week. Y'all have got to listen to the song and turn it up loud and just don't hold back because you'll want to dance. You'll want to dance. You'll want to move. You'll want to move. It is called In the Room by Maverick City Music. Whoo! And I want you to especially, is that the word I'm looking? I don't know. It is the version when you look for it, either on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you listen to music. I don't know, Amazon. Listen to Maverick City Music featuring Tasha Cobbs Leonard, because she, towards the end of it, shares her testimony some, and then it's just, woo-wee. It's something. Y'all listen to it, right? As soon as you click off of this, go listen to it. It just puts a little pep in your step. And he is in the room. He is in me. Nothing we're doing is on our own. Okay. Woo, I like that song. I listened to it right before I pushed record here. Then the podcast that I recommend for this week. Now, listen, it's a long name. I'll put it in the show notes, the description. Show notes. So this gentleman, his name is The Carey, and it's Carey, Nieuwhof, Niewhof, leadership podcast. He's pretty good. I've listened to some of his stuff before, but this certain episode is episode 604, and it's with John Crist. You know John Crist. He's a comedian, and he used to be known as a Christian comedian. And a few years ago, he had a public scandal, a fall. I don't know what you want to call it. And, he stepped away. He did go to rehab. He got some pretty intense therapy. And then he came back and he wrote a book called Delete This. I want that book. I haven't got it yet, but I want it. And this podcast episode with him, again, it's episode 604, is so good. If you have been a Christian for a while or maybe new, all I know is I have dealt with this before too, like feeling shame for something but only shame because I was a Christian. That is from the enemy. Let's establish that it's not from God. But if I wasn't a Christian and I did these actions, there would be no shame. But because at the time he was representing himself, now he said, he didn't give his name a Christian comedian name, but his comedy was clean, and he performed at a lot of churches, a lot of Christian events. And so then that was affiliated with him. He was known as a Christian comedian. And then he made some poor choices with alcohol and with some relationships with women, and essentially got canceled, cancel culture, whatever. And, got some help, came back. Now he's completely transparent. I was just really encouraged by this. Yes, what he did was wrong. I don't mean that. But he didn't feel like he could talk to anybody about it because he felt the shame. And it comes from like his childhood, how he was brought up, different things. But listen, I love this episode. I will listen to it again, and I want that book. Okay. So I told you about the podcast, and I'll put all of this too in the notes. In the room music, like, go ahead. After y'all listen to it, leave it in the comments what you thought. It's good. Good. And now my third and final recommendation for the day. If you are in a larger body, also known as plus size, Old Navy is a good place to shop for clothes, and they're not crazy expensive. I like Torrid and I like Lane Bryant. I like some other places, but they can get a little pricey. Your girl's on a budget. Now, I haven't bought anything yet from Old Navy. That's a splurge when we buy new clothes. I mean, I bought some stuff last winter. I haven't bought anything this winter, but I really like Old Navy plus size clothes. So if you are in the plus size category, and even the non plus size, that's where I get a lot of my cardigans, my pants, my shirts. Basically, my wardrobe is from Old Navy and Walmart. So there you go. If you've looked at me and thought, boy, she looks sharp today, Old Navy. You haven't done that. You haven't, because I really don't. I don't dress up a whole lot. I did do another outfit of the day though, and it's in like my work clothes. I'll post it because those just crack me up. I think I talked about it last week. They just make me laugh. But anyways, there's my 3 recommendations for this week. Y'all comment, let me know what you think, and be blessed. And remember, the same comfort and encouragement that we're given from the Lord, we get to share it with someone else. And I love you guys. Don't forget about the podcast on Monday mornings, on Thursday, full episode, and on Fridays. Monday and Fridays are little 2 to 5 minute episodes. It's called It's Time to Talk About It. It's on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, and Amazon podcasts. All right, let's go. Go on out there and have yourself a good day. Come on now. We'll see you next week. We'll see you next week. And listen, be a person that goes about doing good, doing right, and doing truth, even if you're tight on a road with people beside of it.